Are you being pulled, or are you having to push? Are you being pulled, or are you having to push? So this question gets to the heart of our CoffeeCast today, as we explore the idea of power versus force. And I'm recording this for you, actually, on the swings at the holiday park just down the road from where I live. And there's this kind of, it's an okay adventure playground within a kind of, static caravan holiday park. They also have a gym and a swimming pool. And so for the locals, there's a pretty good value membership that on the weeks when I don't have my children, I take very regular advantage of the gym and the steam room in the mornings or the evenings. And it's really become a really powerful part of my routine. And yet sitting here on the swing, it struck me just how much the idea of power versus force is present in health and fitness and play. The basic idea being that when we are in our power, we are pulled towards activities that are naturally aligned with our soul's greatest flourishing, and therefore that we are most in our power. And this then also extends across many, many spectrums or aspects of life, particularly as regards truth. So where for example, leader or politician is operating in truth and is aligned and connected with the truth of what is needed, then very often all other outside factors notwithstanding, such as corruption and usurping and coups, then that politician will likely capture the hearts and minds of the people because he or she is aligned with their intention and their desire and their need. Whereas, let's say, a dictator, a tyrant, will have to exert increasing amounts of force to impose their will upon the masses. And so the idea being that power is an infinite power supply. That for as long as you are aligned in truth and connected, ideally in love or higher consciousness, then the resources and the ways of being will be there. Whereas, for as long as you are imposing, for as long as there is a forcing current, ultimately that will prove to be unsustainable because of the levels of energy required to sustain it. And perhaps in your own life, you resonate with this. Could be in the ways you've worked in the past, that you kind of have to force yourself to go to the office each day and, to get the paycheck, etc. And over time, it just stopped being sustainable. Like you just couldn't do it anymore. And perhaps there's been times, for example, with your health, where you've forced yourself to go to the gym, but actually you really hate it. And then you discovered, CrossFit or Zumba. And because of the community aspect or because you met some friends, it was a joy to go. And you found yourself staying fit and being healthy, almost as a byproduct of investing in your own happiness. And of course, here, as I swing on the swings, we don't have to force children to stay fit most of the time. If we give them the conditions in which they will naturally follow their soul's urges to play, to connect with friends, to climb on stuff, to run, to jump, right? That there is a natural flow towards health and vitality. And that is one of the things, of course, that we most associate with children, is a kind of natural health and vitality. And that is because they don't question the promptings of their soul to play and to exert energy that builds energy, right? So that is my question today, particularly around your health, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical, your spiritual health. Where right now are you perhaps operating from a forcing current? And Where perhaps are you ignoring the call of power? I know for myself that I've been ignoring a bit, and I can hear it in the background, I've been ignoring the waves. I've been in a little bit of a kind of dark spot, and particularly with my diet and my journey with exploring fasting and, what does actually true deep power feel like for me. So I've been very much in an exploratory phase there. And I recognise that I have allowed certain areas of my life that typically are great sources of power for me to fall away. And it's an interesting conundrum to play with, that sometimes we may have to force a powerful habit to be established so that we can then tap into its source of power. So, for example, it may well be that as you establish a new diet that's really actually nourishes you and is super tasty and healthy, but it may be so far from what you're used to that you may need to force some discipline for a week or so to really let it kick in and to therefore let the benefits become autonomous. So there is, this isn't to say that there's never a time for force. It's just that typically force is going to be an unsustainable power source to help you achieve what you want to achieve. And that the sooner we can be pulled via the power of joy, of satisfaction, of fulfillment, of meaning, of purpose, well, then we tap into something that is inexhaustible. And so I close again with the invitation for you to reflect this week. Where across your life are you perhaps operating from a forcing current? And what needs to happen so that you might align and tap into a source of power? All right, have a great week.